But moving on to who we might be looking at as our next manager, a lot of names have been bandied about: Julian Nagelsmann, Maurizio Pochettino. But we're hearing that there could be reservations about bringing Pochettino back to the club from the hierarchy at Spurs. What do you think those reservations are?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on who that is at the club, but Paratici, there's always a sense that Paratici and Pochettino might not be the most compatible partnership. Would Pochettino want to come and sort of be subservient to someone in that way? Paratici has other targets that he likes, someone like Luis Enrique. So it's whether the two of them would kind of want to compromise sufficiently for that to happen. I mean, anecdotally as well with Pochettino, I'd love to see it. I'd be very curious to see it as well. I think some people feel that, that's in the past and they need to move in a different direction and maybe appoint someone who is a kind of equivalent of Pochettino in 2014. I mean, bear in mind, it's 9 years on from then, and Pochettino was at that point this up-and-coming, young, hungry coach. He's far more established and experienced now. And so it might be slightly different for him as well, whether he wants to come and, take a club that, have had a difficult few years and lift them again, or whether he wants to go somewhere a bit more established. And this is an issue that Spurs face, is that a lot of the targets that they want are aware that come the summer there might be some other jobs available as well. So they don't necessarily want to rush into anything now. They'd rather wait, see what the lay of the land is in a few months' time. So there's kind of a bit of give and take going on, both from the club and also from their managerial targets.
Which makes sense, but obviously the main man on everyone's lips at the moment is Julian Nagelsmann. He does seem to be a lot of people reporting he's Tottenham's number one target. There are people who are saying they do have a few reservations about him, just about how things ended at Bayern and how things went overall with him. But for you, what's your opinion about how he would fit into this the Tottenham structure and whether he would be a good fit for Tottenham?
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly a very talented, experienced, successful coach who I think would have a lot of interesting ideas tactically. He's obviously still very young. There are a few things. I mean, one is that you'd have to be really sure that he really wanted the job, because I think the last thing that Spurs should do is go for another manager who sees the club as a bit beneath him, which felt like it was the case with Conte from pretty early on. So is this someone who really wants to be there? Is he really hungry? Is he invested in it for the long term? Does he want to be there for a few years and really build something? I think you'd also want to be careful about the reports that came out that he wasn't close with a lot of the players, that there was some friction between him and people at board level. These are all things that we've seen from Spurs head coaches, and the club really want to avoid repeating. So those would be the reservations. But clearly, take those things away, and you've got a very, very impressive young guy and a very, very good manager. Again, he fits into that category of, well, first of all, he's just been sacked. So it stands to reason, I can understand why he'd want a bit of time to decompress and work out what he wants to do next. And also come the summer, Real Madrid may be looking for a manager, PSG. There are some big clubs, some of the big Italian clubs as well. So he may well have some other options. So yeah, we'll have to see. But I can definitely see why he's admired by a lot of people at Spurs. And bear in mind, they wanted him in 2019. They wanted him in 2021. That said, it was kind of also the case with Conte and Mourinho that they wanted him previously and then finally got him. So maybe that isn't the best precedent. But I think were they to get him, it would definitely feel like a coup.